Hello, everybody. It's Brian. And after a long hiatus, I'm sorry for all of you who regularly join me on my Tuesdays and Fridays for a stream. I'm back. I was out last week for Concred basically, and before that was prepping for Defcon. But I brought friends. Some you know, some you don't. And so I have Miss Berlin, who's making rare appearance with me today. And I have Vicious Child, who's our guest for this event. So welcome, welcome.
Yay. I'm just glad
Okay.
that I'm recording before my bedtime. Usually it's my bedtime and I'm already yawning as it is, but at least
Well, it's been a
I
long
can
work day.
I can also like do more work after this if I really wanted to.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're just yeah.
I have
You're
tomatoes. I have tomatoes to pick too, so maybe I'll go do that.
oh yeah.
Oh, you
Make
have a garden?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
very good. Yeah. Okay. So as we do with most guests, I would like to invite Vicious Child to tell us about your origin story. How did you get into information security? And we'll give a little more background after that. But how did you get to be in information security, and what do you like about it?
Well, it kind of fell in my lap. Honestly, it was one of those things that I didn't kind of go to. It kind of came to me. I a little brief background. I'm from New Orleans, so
Okay.
I'm pretty much born and raised around music. Played pretty much my whole life. Started at the age of 6. I'm 26, so that's about 20 years. So I went to undergrad. Pretty much my whole tunnel vision was I'm going to be like this next big music producer, music artist. I was on it. Like this was all the only thing that I had in my mind and what I wanted to do. And then COVID hit.
Oh,
And I was a senior in undergrad. I was studying at Berklee College of Music in Boston,
very nice.
studying in audio engineering and music production. And just through that, I was actually working the technical support for the work study job there. So it was, kind of like the technical help desk, but it was more so like if something in the studio room was kind of going down, I would be like the person that would get called, hey, the computer is broke. But it wasn't like I was thinking of it like IT. And then my last semester in undergrad, everything shut down, everyone was locked up. And for me, it kind of just put me in a space where it's like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because I'm about to graduate.
Hmm.
The music industry is a little bit finicky. If you're not really familiar with the music industry, it's in a way, it's kind of like cybersecurity. It's about who you know, about your connections, about your networking. And because there was not really a space that was available at the time to be able to have that in-person interaction or go into studios or visit people or connect with artists or anything like that, that was kind of just that space was not, it was basically invisible.
Hmm.
So I graduated, and at that point I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sit home all day because I can't sit still. So I have to be able to do something. My brain has to work in some shape or form. So I was working at my local church, and through there, I then kind of got into AV IT, and I was like their main media AV IT director. So during that whole time of quarantine, I actually built their whole network from the ground up. Keep in mind, this was just off of basic knowledge that I knew. It wasn't, oh, this is going to be my job. This is what I want to eventually go into. It was just something that, I just always been technical in a sense. I just was good at it, and it wasn't really something I thought about as a career. But as time went on, I was doing that every Sunday or throughout the week, and while doing that, I also was a UPS driver. So while everyone's home, you can only imagine everyone is ordering off Amazon every
Hmm.
single day.
Yep.
And I'm just like, yeah, I can't keep doing this. So I decided I wanted to go back to school. And given that, I was already familiar with from a technical standpoint, I kind of already had a little bit of help desk experience, but not technically looking at it that way. I decided to go back to school and get my master's. I didn't know for what. And then I decided, maybe I kind of like the cyber thing. I only was knowledgeable of it, honestly, from like what I saw on TV. And so what I saw on TV was like, okay, like I think I'd be into that. Not really knowing much about cybersecurity. This was in 2021, 2022. Um, and from there, I'm like, okay, I know I want to further my education in some way, shape, or form, and to be able to expand myself from just music. And I just say, hey, why not take something that I'm pretty good at now and kind of extend that further? So I decided to go to WGU, or Western Governors University.
Yep.
Signed up for their master's program in cybersecurity and information assurance. And from there, I was kind of trying to knock it out while I was also working like 12-hour shifts every day at UPS. And at that point, just from off the first class, even though again I knew nothing, I took like a Google IT support class prior to that. And that was pretty much all my knowledge outside of like what I just personally picked up over time. And then from there, I just understanding and kind of getting more in depth of cybersecurity, networking, just the basic computer things. I knew that, but just to kind of go more in depth kind of really just solidified that for me. And, cybersecurity is so broad. And just with that master's program, it only covered one piece. It kind of really covered more of like the CISSP. It was based off that program. So once I graduated, during that time, at some point I quit UPS and I got my actual first real IT support help desk job, and I was there maybe about a year and a half. And once I graduated, I then got an offer from the security team at that same company to actually come on as a SOC analyst. But prior to that, while I was in school, I reached out to some team members on that actual team to just say, hey, I'm getting my master's in cybersecurity. I want to know more outside of just textbook. I want to know, what it's like to work day in and day out on in the SOC, and what does that look like here where we are, just so I can, have a better understanding, because not everywhere is going to be the same exact thing, same exact situation. Every team looks a little bit different. So I kind of shadowed the security team maybe about 3-4 months, and then I had graduated with my master's. And then from there, I became a SOC analyst, and I'm still at the same company almost 3 years now. So that's pretty much the origin story of how I got into cybersecurity and like actually landed my first job in cybersecurity.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that in this challenging job market you were able to find something. There are a lot of folks. It is not an easy job market right now, so it's great that you had your network, and this is exactly why we tell people to network, because that's how you get jobs, right?
Absolutely.
And so, was this your first security conference as well as?
This was, yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. So my first security conference was actually like a B-Sides, which I will tell you, B-Sides NOLA, which I think they call it B-Sides NOLA, even though I know it's, people don't like it. There are several B-Sides in that area, including B-Sides New Orleans. Excellent conference that I want to say you maybe just missed, but wow, Defcon is definitely a conference to be your first
conference.
Yeah. Miss Berlin has been to several more DEF CONs than I have. She was actually a photo goon for a good while before she ran her own village. And this was my second DEF CON. Actually, I've gooned for 2 years in a row. I was a SOC goon or a line goon. I think you mentioned them during your vlog post, which is how I found you.
Yes.
which great post, by the way. I do apologize for the last 2 days being a little, them not allowing you to record.
Well, I will say it wasn't that they didn't allow me. It was just I didn't feel comfortable just because I felt like recording wise, I wanted to kind of just be able to focus on,
Oh,
just be in the moment, be present,
yeah, that's
and
cool.
not really have to worry about is somebody in the video, is somebody behind me. Just trying to respect the photo policy that they had in place.
I appreciate your restraint
I was
because
gonna
there
say,
were.
as a former photo goon, I really appreciate that. You have no idea how many times.
Yeah, there were definitely a
I've been
couple of
saying
folks that we saw that did not. There's actually one we saw that did not respect that and was all over the place. So I appreciate your restraint. I do appreciate what you recorded thus far was excellent, and um, uh, yeah, there was a lot of good content in there, including you walking from your hotel room or your hotel to the convention center, which that was what, about a 20-minute walk?
It was about 20, 25, give or take,
Oh,
depending on how fast I walked.
Jeez, okay.
it was not morning
You
when
can
she was
walk
walking, by the
fast?
way. Yeah, it was not morning when she was walking that. It was
Not
very much warm. So
even in the morning it's
Well,
warm. Like
the
we
first day it was about 8:30.
yeah,
Still hot, but not as hot as the walk back.
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You don't think there's much of a difference between like 95 and 105, but there is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now I was walking around at like 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning because that's when us goons had to get up and report for first shift. So it was as cool as it was going to get by that time. But yeah, wow, okay. So your manager suggested you go to Defcon, or you found out about Defcon and was like, hey, I want to go to this. And your manager's like, yeah, cool, let's do that.
Well, I mean, I've heard about DEF CON. I've heard about a plethora of conferences, and
Okay.
when I was planning, like your vision board of the new year,
Hmm.
that I put it on my vision board, and I said, I don't care if I go to any other conference. If I want to be there, I'm going to be there.
Right.
So I kind of just went off a limb, but I do have some coworkers that have actually been previously. So pretty much all my coworkers have been at some point. Last year, two of my coworkers and my supervisor, I think he primarily goes every year. But one of my coworkers from last year, he actually came in like third on the password cracking challenge.
Oh, nice.
I believe so, CTF. Yeah, he's a character, but he's very like into anything you want to know. Like he's really good. So like once I told him I was going, he would kind of gave me the rundown. But I just feel like somebody can prepare you, but you're never really prepared till you like
Right.
get there.
Right.
It is put perfectly.
Yeah.
Right, because people ask me all the time, like, oh, it's my first DEF CON, like what should I do? Da da da. And like there's articles that have been written out that have been written out there that can do better of a job than I can to explain like all of the facets of what you might encounter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real long, and there's like multi-part ones. It depends on like how freaked out you want to get about things. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it used to be. I don't feel like you have to super worry that much anymore about like a whole bunch of bad things happening. But yeah, like I loved how you put it. There's not really a whole lot that can prepare you.
No.
It's great to be in the moment though, like you said.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
experiencing it and seeing what you can see and knowing that you're not going to be able to experience everything because it is
Yeah.
so large.
It's
Like,
so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of
Yeah.
have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was going to say, I think everybody has a tweet about what to do to prepare for that. My biggest one was water. I was like, I was watching your video. I'm like, oh my God, I hope she's got water when she's walking between, the hotels. Like, I have a Camelback that I
I
was
had a
using for
whole
that.
gallon.
Yeah, there you go.
I got a whole gallon of
Yep.
water
Yep.
in like my
Oh, yeah.
backpack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the only way. that was the only thing I would suggest to anybody is make sure you bring enough water to drink. But yeah. So which villages did you get to go to? I know that there were thousands, well, thousands. There was at least a dozen villages or better spread out all over the place. I was up on the third floor for the most part doing line operations for, Packet Hacking Village and Bug Bounty and QueerCon and VetCon and
there was like 6 on that floor. Not counting
Yeah.
like the main part where a lot of the villages were.
Yeah. Yeah. So what villages did you get to go to that you enjoyed?
Well, I will say I made the mistake of going to every single floor 3 times. I was just like walking all around to make sure I didn't miss anything. So
Right.
I kind of touched every village, but ones
Nice.
I actually like really stopped by and kind of just did some stuff. The first village I stopped at was Social Engineering Village.
Oh,
I was pretty much there maybe like the first 2 hours on day one.
okay.
That was by far one of my favorites. I stopped by the Red Team
Okay.
Village,
All right.
Bug Bounty Village, Lockpicking Village,
Right.
the Aerospace Village. I enjoyed that one. I also enjoyed the AI. I think it was the cyber it's like area where they
Oh,
had
yeah.
not the cyber, the challenge.
Yep.
Yeah, that was probably like as far as like just aesthetically pleasing and kind of just got me in my whole like vibe. That would probably be like just from that standpoint. It was very educational just to kind of see it in a different way. I would probably say from that standpoint that was probably the best village in that category. I stopped at the car hacking village.
Yes.
I didn't really do much over there. I kind of just observed. Um, I stopped at Blacks in Cyber.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they were pretty nice. There were some good people in there.
Yep.
Um,
So you went to the social engineering village on the first day, which means you may or may not have run into me because I was running line operations for that. I do apologize if some of us SOC goons who do line operations may get a little brusque at times. So I hope that your interactions with the goons was largely positive in that case.
I didn't have any issues. Now that I think about it, I think I did run into you. You were. I think.
I'm sorry.
I can't promise you, but if you were in that line, probably between the time it opened.
Yep.
Okay, I think you like told me stay in the line or scoot up. Y'all get closer. Maybe that was you.
That'd be me.
Right.
I wasn't screaming.
Yeah.
I wasn't yelling
No,
you
did not have any bad experience or bad energy, so I will give you that. But other than that, I didn't have any experience of what I've heard before. It was pretty much just kind of managing, directing.
You are far too kind. You are far too kind. Others do not feel the same way.
Well,
I mean,
can't follow directions, so
that's true.
yeah. I mean, I also just feel like I'm a tough cookie. So like some things that may bother others don't bother me. Yeah.
That's cool. You mentioned in the video that because I watched it, I actually watched it twice to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Your manager's into RF related stuff. What did he go to? Did he talk about any villages that he went to?
He did not. Only from like my knowledge, he was like walking around with his like chest rig. He was doing so much stuff. He was like he's into ham radio, so like he was having his whole mesh-tastic thing going on and like that world. And then he's like walking around with his chest piece, like, yeah, I'm in the Bluetooth hacking contest, and then he's like doing something else, and he was also doing like the war driving contest that happened prior to. I think he came in third in that as well. So he's like into a lot of stuff, but his main thing is like RFID stuff. Like he's really into that stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there's just so much stuff going on that even I had no clue as to what's going on. I mean, the program they give you with the badges has a good number of things, but
it's not everything.
yeah, and there's just so much stuff. I mean, I had people come up to me asking me, "Hey, where do you get this badge?" And I'm like, "Is it in the Hacker Tracker app? Because I don't know where those were." And there were so many people selling badges.
Yeah.
I think the most expensive badge was the Maritime badge. If you went over to the Maritime Village, it was like $300 for that badge. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah, I
God."
did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the coolest ones I saw was, as a nod to my Star Trek roots and fandom, there was a kid who I think is a junior in high school, and he had fabbed the entire showcraft, and it had an Arduino board in it, and he
Oh
was,
wow.
selling that as a way to get to college. So he was for like, I think they were 200 a pop, but they had a bunch of stuff in them. He programmed the OS that was in it to look like the Star Trek Next Generation interface and all that stuff. Really, very cool. Several of our goons bought those. But yeah, there were several badges there. People were like, "Oh, why? The analog badge that was here is like, oh, what about this one?" I was like, this one wasn't as good this year, and that's because they had an analog badge, right? But
Yeah.
there were so many other digital badges out there that you could easily take over for what didn't happen for the Defcon badge to replace your
Yeah.
your badge if you wanted to do that. So, um,
And so many CTFs,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like just challenge after challenge after challenge. I was walking through one of our board members partners was helping us like volunteer, and it was her first time at a conference too.
okay,
I was like walking her around and like explaining what a CTF was and like how many different kinds there are. And I'm
right,
like, look, this one involves a vending machine, and
oh
then this
right,
one involves a badge, and there's just like so much stuff.
right,
So much
right.
to do.
Yeah, I think that's about the only advice that I think is pretty universal. It's like if this is your first DEF CON or if you are going to DEF CON, don't try to do everything because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
literally cannot do everything.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't get to see everything, and I was a goon, and I was up on the third floor for most of the time, and I spent a little time near Blue Team Village handling the line operations there. But by the time I got done with my shift, I was like, I just want to go back to my hotel room. I'm good. I'm really okay. And I spent a little time at LineCon. So if you go next year, I will tell you, LineCon, which is the Wednesday night before everything
Mhm.
goes crazy,
Isn't worth
that's an
it.
interesting thing in itself.
It
You
is.
should
You
probably
meet a lot of people,
interesting
right?
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
Interesting people. Um, I think the first person lined up around 11:30 on Wednesday afternoon.
Oh
And
wow.
keep in mind, things don't go on sale until 8 o'clock the next morning on
It's like the
Thursday morning.
Best Buy before Black Friday day.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So some people were in line almost 24 hours, and of course, they were able to get out and go, bathroom breaks and go eat and get that kind of stuff. But I showed up and I did the 5 to 8 and 8 to 11 line con shifts for goons, which I shouldn't have done that because that was a long shift for me. But it was very cool. There was a DJ. We had somebody with a 3D printer and a EcoFlow battery that was printing up all kinds of stuff, handing out LineCon coins and things. I didn't actually get to do that one last year, so I was like, oh, I'll just do LineCon this year. It was very interesting. And I don't even get to see the parties and stuff that happen from second and third shift, that happen in the evenings because I'm pretty much, gassed out and in my room. But did you get to go to any of the parties? Did you get to hang out with any of that?
Not any of the DEF CON specific ones, but I did go to the Reddit subgroup. They had one
Oh, okay. Yep.
that
Oh,
Wednesday. They had two meetups, one that Wednesday and I think that Thursday. I went to the one on that Thursday at the where was it? The Sahara, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
was at the Sahara. Yeah. Then it was pretty nice. I'm always talking in Reddit and stuff here and there. So
Yep. Actually, that's where I found your post to your vlog. So yes, I'm on there as well. Kind of wanting to make sure because we were monitoring it quite heavily for things like, hey, this goon is being ugly, or these people are being weird. So I do it for threat intelligence, or to
got you.
catch things or interesting things that might have occurred. But I love the Defcon. There's so much interesting stuff going on there at that time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Were there any villages that you wished you had checked out that you didn't get to go to? Like you found out after the fact, oh, there was a Kubernetes village, or oh, there was DJs. Did you catch any of the DJ sessions or anything like that?
I did catch one. I think, but it was the one during the day, so it was pretty much a chill, I guess you could say, a
Mm-hmm.
chill session.
Yeah.
Um, a village that I wish not that I miss, but I wish I would have spent more time in. I would definitely say is the aerospace village.
Okay.
I I would say aerospace village in combination with mm, maybe the bug bounty village.
Okay.
Those would be the two I would probably say most of. I was really intrigued by the aerospace village. I just really didn't. I'll say I didn't know what was going on because I didn't know what was going on. But outside of that, like I really wish I would have just kind of asked questions, kind
Mm.
of figure out, a little bit more information. And they had so much going on. Like they had this drone section around, and I have a drone myself, so it would have been kind of nice to ask questions from that standpoint. And there was like this station where you get to like fly. Well, it was like a simulation that they had going on that was pretty cool. So I just wish if I had to go back in time, um, kind of spend more time in villages that I wasn't necessarily interested in, because
Mm.
I'm not really into like aerospace stuff, but just it was intriguing to me in that moment. And I think for me, to be able to expand and extend my interest in things is what kind of keeps me going in this field, because there is so much to do, right? And
Yep.
so much to learn, that there were things I didn't even know was a thing. So I would say aerospace village and bug bounty village. I've been trying to get into bug bounties for a while now, and I
Mm.
just give up. Honestly, I just give up sometimes. But I would probably say those two would probably be the two I would spend more time in if I could.
Yeah, Bug Bounty was quite popular. It was quite popular last year too, which I don't know if it surprised the DEF CON folks, but there are several celebrities there. Naham Sek, who I also saw his blog entry or vlog entry from DEF CON. He has quite a few more production values than I would have on mine, but plus, I believe he was a member of the press, so he had a posse walking around with a camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, his setup was a little bit different than others that I've seen for that. Yeah, they have several speakers, uh, and like Rhino Raider and all those folks for they have their own streams, of course, in
Right.
chats. I like listening to them because they give me ideas on what bug bounty people will be potentially doing against our stuff. So
Yeah.
various attacks there. So, Miss Berlin, you run a village, the Mental Health Hacker Village, which I'm sorry, Nook, sub village. I don't know what they called it there. I thought it was very cool that the Blue Team Village, offered up space for y'all. Because some of the feedback I heard last year was there wasn't a lot of not safe space, but quiet spaces, and people were using the Blue Team Village at the time to chill as a quiet space.
Yeah.
So they actually took it the next level, and they said, "Hey, mental health hackers, come and take over our quiet space." And I actually hung out in there. It was very nice. One of the only talks I actually seen was a mental health hackers talk about shaming the meat, which I found interesting. That's not to be weird or anything, but that's just, yeah, I just found that an excellent discussion. And so, how was your experiences running the village running a Nook or running a sub village for the Blue Team Village? Nobody's going to be watching that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess other people are allowed to call it a village, just I'm not allowed to.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
more people that do and ask that, I think is better. Gets us
Right.
more space, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Um, I mean, I don't think it was much different, honestly, than doing it at like DerbyCon
Okay.
when we
Okay.
did it.
Yeah, yeah.
About the same level of traffic, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest. And we helped a ton of people.
Y'all
So
were in an excellent location. Second floor, about
really,
middle, right there next to the right there next to the elevators and the escalators up by Blue Team Village. And it was a very, very good spot. Very
yeah.
good spot.
I think a lot of people didn't know we were there.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. So
Mm,
like because we weren't technically a village, we weren't listed on the hacker tracker.
right. Right.
Mm,
It was more
that's not cool.
right. Well, yeah, because like the blue team village was, and we were just running one of the blue team village's rooms
Mm,
as mental health hackers. And but we had like quiet space and mental health talks, and we gave away 300 like conference survival kits, and we had meditation and yoga and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of stuff, and definitely not a money making up. We all said and done with um, like fundraising, and I had people ship me stuff that I sold on eBay and that I'm still selling on eBay for the nonprofit,
Right.
and all of the expenses and everything. We were up about $100. Well, we're up like 250 now that I sold some more stuff on eBay, but
Okay.
yeah, it was a lot of work for $250.
Wow.
But it was good. I think we helped a lot of people.
That's cool. Hey, Grobdor, thank you for being a first-time chatter on our stream here. They say, oh, I saw Amanda when I went through the mental health hacker village. How did you enjoy the village, the Nook or the whatever the the space? Did
You
you
know what I
enjoy the
like?
space?
The name Nook, I really like because it makes me think of like the knock.
It was peaceful. There you go. So
Perfect.
yes, exactly. And the chill out space, that was the chill out space, felt like the party at Zion from Matrix 2. And I was like, yeah, I'm just, if you know, you know. It's
And
very,
I like love the people that run it,
right,
right?
right, right, right.
They are trying to promote like a very chill atmosphere, but like people have different definitions of chill.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Like there's cool as in like this is chill, like a vibe.
Right. Right, right, right.
It's noisy and like for people with anxiety and sensory processing issues,
Right.
not super chill.
no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of me being done with my shift, I was like, yeah, I just need to get away from people. So it was like I get on the bus, the goon bus they gave us to take us back to the Rio, and then I was like, do I really want to get back on the bus and go back over to the convention center? 2.5 hours later, I was like, no,
No.
no, I don't think I will. And so, yeah,
So then we went and got sushi instead.
and then we went and got sushi. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. It was weird because the Rio also has the Star Trek convention, which
Right.
my
Right.
my friends I actually have friends who run the front of the house for that, so they volunteer. They're goons very much for Star Trek. So I went and got to see them and said hello, and ended up having dinner with them one night. We went and had sushi, and then I went and had sushi with Miss Berlin and whatever. But it was nice to be able to get away from people. The Rio was not very sparsely packed except when the movies were going on, and it was easy to get around. Um, I know during your blog post, you had mentioned several times, you actually had to stop at one point because you felt like it was a bit overwhelming. And you know what? You're 100% correct. Something like a Defcon or any major event like that can be overwhelming. Uh, you weren't alone. Just want to let you know you weren't
Mhm.
alone in that because, like Miss Berlin had hundreds and hundreds of people who could come out. You were able to find a place to you know, process. But did you was there a lack of that being pointed out, or was there something that Defcon, and we're actually taking feedback for this, so people who are watching this or whatever, if you have feedback about chill spaces, or like, hey, your chill out space wasn't all that chill, or we like Miss Berlin said, we appreciate it, but we would have liked some subdued music and maybe some quieter space. Were you able to finally get what you needed when at DEF CON, or was somebody able to help you with that?
I mean, I guess it's something I personally deal with often. So like I know where to go and how to like, it's just hyper anxiety sometimes where it's just like, too many people. I don't really like to be around a lot of people. I'm an introvert at heart. So I knew what I was walking myself into. So it was just more so of, when I got too overstimulated, let me go find me a corner or somewhere and just kind of just have some me time. And that's
Yep.
just what I typically do. Not that there wasn't anything or enough that was provided on DEFCON's end. There was, I think, the room that was downstairs. I'm not sure what the room was called, but it was kind of the one that was like the dark room space. Maybe that was where on day one our badge pickup initially was.
Right.
There was some saxophone music. To me, that was chill. That's
Okay.
like soothing to me.
Very nice.
Outside of that one moment, I didn't hear anything else that was like chill. But again, I didn't really go sit down or do anything like I said before. Like I was pretty much walking everywhere for the most part,
Yeah.
except when I did have those moments, which is honestly very rare. On each day, I probably kind of isolated maybe once or twice every day. Or even if I just wasn't really hungry, I just kind of got me some coffee or something from Dunkin' and sat somewhere off on a limb just to kind of just like have that me space, me time. Just because I'm used to that. And if
Right.
if I get too anxious or like too many people in my space, it's a bit much for me. Not that I would have like anxiety or check anything, but it's just when you're used to something and you're not really used to having so many people around you, it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. So it
Right.
was just more so of just having that time to gather myself and go back to what I was doing.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I'm glad you're able to do that. We have, one reason we call ourselves SOC is we're safety operations, right? So, we have folks that can't do what you do. And sometimes they'll get overwhelmed, or we'll have we had a couple of medical issues. We had somebody who walked across from their hotel room at about a 20-minute walk, just like you did, and they had heat exhaustion because of it. They could have had a 30-pound pack. I don't know what they were carrying, but we have folks like that they get overwhelmed because they want to do everything, and this is the first time that they've been a I met so many first timers, not just yourself, but I met so many first time people at DEF CON that it's easy to be overwhelmed at that kind of thing. Miss Berlin's Nook, I found to be a nice quiet space. One of the other spots that they may not have suggested it to be that, but if you were on the main area, like the West Hall area where the speakers were, where the villages were, the DEF CON CTF place was fairly quiet, being an open place, but there wasn't a lot of folks that were hanging out there, at least on the second and third day when I was there. Those places do exist. I wouldn't suggest the food court because that was probably one of the worst places.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was probably one of the worst places.
Like ants, people everywhere.
Yeah, and by the time everybody was done with the lines, it was legion. So
I only stood in line once. I brought my 14-year-old with me, and I sent him to go get me food several times. I'm like, you go stand in line. You'll be fine.
See, and you say you don't know how to delegate. There you go. You've already done delegated. Yes. Yeah, the seating, it would have been nice if they'd had more seating. They'd made some subtle changes between room layouts and everything that if the other spot that if you're okay with the heat, there was a spot by the packet hacking village on the second floor, sorry, third floor, that you could go out and sit in some lounges and stuff like that. The problem was it was outside, so it was in the shade, but it was outside, and I didn't know that existed because I hadn't been on that floor before. But yeah, I think as they continue to build out DEFCON, as they continue to, and again, as a disclaimer, I don't represent DEFCON in any way, shape, or form. I don't even represent all the goons. I just represent.
I mean,
Don't give me that look.
Present them a little. You're wearing.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am merely a bit of sand in the cog of the wheel that is DEFCON, or a bad penny. But yeah, I found myself at points where I was like, I just need to go and have lunch. And for that 30 minutes that I'm having lunch, I'm off in a corner somewhere where I'm not doing anything. So that I could finish up the couple hours that I had for my shift, because there's a lot of people, and I think that's why some people are like, hey, maybe DEF CON's got too big. There's other conferences you can go to. There's, like Miss Berlin mentioned, NolaCon in the Zoom chat, or your local B-sides or whatever. I think that there's just something about a DEF CON or a Black Hat that you have to experience. It's like going to a music festival or something like that. You have to experience it. And maybe next year, now you're like, okay, now I know what to expect. It won't be so bad. Or I've lived through it, so I can live through it again. I don't know if that's a positive. I can, if I can survive this, then I can survive coming back. I don't know if that's a thing.
I think it all depends on your outlook and what you prioritize. And
Right.
like, I mean, my first DEF CON, I didn't know. I knew two people, I think.
Right.
And I kind of just did the same thing. Like, I watched Reddit, I watched Twitter, and I kind of just like fell into a CTF group of somebody that needed an extra participant. And then I like made those friends, and then those friends led to other, and it's just kind of like it is what you make of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for your vlog, what were you using to record with? It looked like you had an SLR camera or something.
It's a Sony A7 IV mirrorless.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
But that was the first day. The
Right.
second day, because I didn't want to have the actual like first day where the conference was actually going on and like people were everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have anything too big, too obvious, So
Right.
I had I don't have it anywhere near me, but the little DJI Osmo Pocket 3, the little small gimbal, with the gimbal. Yeah. Something small, compact, I could just pull out, put in my pocket.
That's very good.
But
yeah. I know that the technology to record has gotten a bit more, I don't know, secret or sensitive. We'd had reports maybe of some meta glasses being used for recording purposes. Us goons, we have to enforce the code of conduct because, like you said, as you mentioned, you tried to make sure that people were not in your pictures, which we greatly appreciate. When you take pictures, do it responsibly, and you were definitely sounding like you were doing it in a responsible way. But there are other folks that are like, they'll just record wherever. It's like if we didn't tell them not to photograph in the bathroom, they probably would have photographed in the bathroom. Some people just don't take a hint in some cases.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taking wide photos of the LED screens, or of the specific people, or one of the pieces of feedback I think we got was there needs to be some photo areas where people can take photos, and like if there's a space, or something, like if people wanted to stream, like if you wanted to do your vlog or something, in a like a dedicated space for that, because one of the things that I think happened this year was they opened it up to more kids. They have a DEF CON next gen kind of thing where they're trying to bring in more kids, and they're trying to bring in more people. If you bring your parents are bringing their 8 to 15-year-olds, they got to have something for them to do, right? It's not
Right.
just like drop them off at a village and let them babysit or whatever. But I have a feeling that as we get more people who want to come to DEF CON, who have it's almost a generational thing. It's like, if you're there and you're a content creator like yourself, or I consider myself a content creator, but I'm not really. There should be spaces for that to occur, or
Yeah.
for you to feel like you can have an interview with somebody, in a space. And depending on your audio setup or whatever, you're going to have 150,000 people around you or whatever, and it's not going to be conducive to that. So I don't want to turn the quiet spaces into streaming spaces, because that's not a solution. But if there were
Yeah.
spaces where we could have conversations with folks or whatever, that would be ideal. I don't remember did you interviewed a person there, I think, right? Somebody who was a
I
follower.
I did not interview someone. He saw me with my camera and he
Oh,
was
okay.
like, I know you. I'm like, you know me? He's like, I saw your I made a video about like um my preparing for DEF CON, like travel
Okay.
essentials.
Right.
And he watched the video. I mean, per se, I guess you can say it was like my version of how to prepare, but that was my version of just like technical things put in my bag. It was like my everyday carry. And he's like, I know you. I just watched your video on the plane. I'm
There
like,
you go.
okay,
That's
you know.
awesome.
Yeah, so it wasn't really an interview. He was just saying hi. I just happened to be vlogging at that time and he got in the video.
That's awesome. Well, so
Yeah.
next year you can set up a meetup, and
Okay.
yeah, you could,
Yeah.
I don't know where you would have it. I don't think you'd want to have it in the outside, but there's a myriad of places you could have it. You could, yeah, there's multiple places. So, um, what? Okay, so you, yeah, you mentioned we talked a little bit about the anxiety and the imposter syndrome. I think you're in good company here. I want to say that you're absolutely in good company with the imposter syndrome. Everybody has it, and
Yeah, for sure.
um, you know, uh, I've been fighting it for over a decade, and I still fight it to this day. So it's
Ignore it.
ignore it, ignore it. Okay, yeah, that's easy, because you're already awesome and I'm not. So that's how it
Okay.
works. Um, but yeah, I want to ask you, what was the best thing you ate when you were in Vegas?
Um, well, I'm vegan, so I don't eat much per se. I will say I had some. I'm trying to think about what I even ate. Um, mm, mm, mm.
I imagine there's
I
some
went
options though in Vegas.
yeah, I mean, I can pretty much eat anything. I'm not like allergic to anything. So if I wanted cheese one day, I will have cheese. But I will say if I want chicken today, I'll have chicken. But yeah, it's just a preference. But I went to the buffet at the Wynn,
Oh, yeah.
and I would
Oh,
say that was probably the best food I've had, not in a while, but in Vegas. I'll probably say that was probably the best options, the best food. It was a plethora of option. I like desserts, so I had me some tiramisu, some cookies, some gelato. I
Yeah.
just ate a whole lot of things I was not supposed to be eating. So I came back home because I actually live in Georgia now.
Okay.
I came back and I was like, yeah, I think I need a detox. I had a little bit too
Me too.
much fun.
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, if you ever have a chance to go to any place in Vegas, Maggiano's was good too. I had some Maggiano's. It was like the eggplant
Mm-hmm.
marinara. That was really
Right.
good.
nice.
Um, but if you ever have a chance, I say definitely go sit at the buffet at the Wynn for sure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Miss Berlin, what was the best thing you ate while you were there?
I got this really good roll of sushi.
Oh, the one we went to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they
Oh,
had really interesting sushi options.
are you going to talk about that roll of sushi?
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, good. Okay. I was afraid we were going to have to upgrade our rating to PG-13 or something.
Or R, probably. There was an R-rated version of sushi that I ate.
Yeah.
That was delicious. But there was also some really spicy sushi.
Yeah, that was really good.
That
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
What's your go-to sushi combination? Like if you had to make your own
I like
sushi roll.
Definitely crab and cucumber, and then
Okay, so like a California roll.
and anything with a lot of spice. So if you take a California
Gotcha.
roll and add like a ton of spice to it, like that's
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was actually trying to find that place we went to. We were actually supposed to go to a Korean barbecue joint because the previous night we took an Uber back from Sushi Fever, which is a local sushi joint. Come to find out, sushi's really expensive in the hotels.
yeah.
You could take an Uber to a sushi joint and then take an Uber back, and you probably still save money.
Wow.
Yeah. So we went to a place
Went
called
to what? Like it was called Chinatown, right? It was
right.
Chinatown.
Yeah, the Chinatown in Vegas, which is pretty much just a really long strip mall on Mountain Spring or something like that. But we were supposed to go to this 888 Korean barbecue joint, and we get there and it was probably a 2-hour wait, which it was a Saturday, so yeah, it was going to happen that way. So Miss Berlin had been kind enough to pick me up along with Matt and Wyatt and them. So we went to the place next door, which didn't have a line at the time, or we didn't have to wait for very long. Just as good, I think, probably. Had some excellent sushi. That was probably the best sushi we had the time I was there. So, but yeah. So we talked about the best thing. What was the worst thing you had when you were there?
I tried a vegan omelet, and it was like made with vegan eggs. It was probably the worst, the worst thing I've ever. It was like a Spanish omelet. So if it was just like a regular omelet, it would just be eggs, some peppers, plus a whole bunch of vegetables, no cheese. That was basically the omelet. Except instead of regular eggs, it was vegan eggs.
Okay. From vegan chickens?
No, it's
okay.
Primarily processed. It's probably worse than like regular eggs. That's probably the bad part about like a lot of vegan stuff.
Okay.
It was chemically made or lab made, however they made it. But I said, you don't know if you like something till you try it, and I know I will never eat that again.
Yeah. 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 I told Miss Berlin this story just before I got before you came on. Monday morning, I was getting back to get on my flight to come back to San Diego here, which is only an hour, so it's not a huge deal. But so the Rio has a hash house, a gogo, which is usually a really good breakfast joint, except I ordered the biscuits and gravy. They didn't say the quiet part out loud that they put the biscuits and gravy on a bed of mashed potatoes. Exactly. When I got it, I didn't realize that it was on a bed of mashed potatoes, so I cut into the biscuit, and the first thing I thought of was, well, the biscuit wasn't cooked. And somebody at my table who also ordered the biscuits and gravy also ended up getting mashed potatoes in theirs, and I was like, oh, okay, so it was our mess up. But it's amazing, it wasn't hash browns, it's not home fries, it was mashed potatoes, and they weren't even very good mashed potatoes. So I actually couldn't finish that, and I was very unhappy because later I actually just went back before we did this stream, and I looked at Hash House of Go-Go's menu from the Rio. It's in there. I just failed to recognize that in their 2-point font. So if you go to Hash House of Go-Go and you get the biscuits and gravy, get it with hash browns or something with deep fried potatoes or something like that. Otherwise, you're not in for a good experience. So that was easily the worst thing because I couldn't literally finish what was going on there. But yeah. Wow. So this wasn't your first trip to Vegas, I would imagine. You've been before?
No, it was not.
Okay.
I went once prior before in like right after quarantine. So maybe about 2022, 2021,
Okay.
somewhere in between there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been to your first Defcon. The good things about Defcon for you are
Or
that was a because
a
I'd like
question.
what could and then we're gonna get some feedback about what they could do to improve maybe there because I also have some thoughts on that as well from my own personal experience.
I mean, overall, like I said in my video, honestly, it was a really great experience. I think for me personally, the only thing that probably altered the best experience I could have had is just it being overstimulated. It's a lot. I think a lot of people can deal with it, but a lot of people can't deal with it. And I think kind of just hearing, oh, it's a lot, it's overwhelming, is kind of an understatement to be able to be in that space and like see how much there is to do. I think that would probably be the only thing I would say was like, but I think overall, just some of the nicest people I've ever talked to, run into, like people I didn't even know, just having a nice conversation. Like I think I probably had a better interaction with people at that conference than I have just in life, honestly. And it was just a really good and heartwarming experience, especially like being from a place where, we all about Southern hospitality. We love people. If you ever go to New Orleans, I don't think I won't say ever, but I think we are some of the most welcoming people. I can be a little bit biased, but I think just being in a space and being from that space, I haven't really encountered that in other places. So just to be able to be in a big space with people from all over the world and not really have any bad interactions, just for my personal experience, I think that was primarily one of the great things. I do appreciate DEFCON kind of just having become as you are. There were some interesting people, some interesting costumes, some interesting,
Yeah.
a lot of interesting stuff. But
Yeah.
there was no form of judgment, and I think that's probably a good thing. If you make a space comfortable for people to be able to walk into the door and be their self. A lot of people don't care. Come as you are, be who you are, but to be able to see that in a different light was kind of just like, I don't know. I just felt like I was in my own little world, and it was just refreshing to see that. Just being not only a person of color, but also a woman, like that was really just kind of a different experience for me because we eh, we go through a lot of things. We a lot of people go through a lot of things, but just being a person of color that can kind of be hard sometimes to kind of walk into a room and feel like you're welcome. And I felt welcome the moment I walked in the door, outside of the anxiety and all that other stuff. That kind of didn't really matter. But just to be able to feel like I was in a space with like-minded people, with no judgment and welcoming people. If you had a question, someone would answer. If you didn't know anything, it's very beginner friendly. So if you know nothing about nothing, it's still a place for you to be in. And just the opportunity to be able to observe and see so many different things. Like I said, it can be overwhelming for sure, but I think there is a space and a place for everyone there, which I think over anything, that could be as many CTFs, as many competitions, as many villages as you want. But I think to be able to walk into a space and feel like there's something here for me, whether I know it or not, I think that's probably like the best thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you felt that way because if you had been the first time you didn't feel like you were able to come back, you didn't feel like you had a good time. That would have definitely been something that we would have definitely raised to our SOC folks to let them know that there was an issue or anything in particular that did not make you feel safe. I think that's what us goons try to do. We try to make it as safe as possible, as welcoming as possible, as stress-free as possible. I know sometimes that's nigh impossible. It's a huge task, even for some of us own goons. But I'm so glad that you made it. I'm so glad that I met so many first-time DEF CON attendees. I mean, it was. We've got people that have been there 30 years. It's their 33rd DEF CON, and then we had folks that was their first DEF CON, and my second DEF CON. Last year was my first. I gooned with it. People were like, "Oh my God, you're gooning on your first DEF CON." I was like, "Yeah, it's not my first conference, not my first large scale conference, but I was unprepared for the number of people, the glut of people last year. I was a little more prepared this year. I went to just as many parties this year as I did last year, 0. And but but yeah, it is definitely a welcoming area. I equated it to the Star Trek conference, but we have just a bit less cosplay, right?
Yeah,
And
just a
we
bit.
have more furries. We have more furries, less cosplay. So,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you enjoyed. It sounds like you're going to come back next year if you can.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely know. I won't say what to expect, but I definitely know how to approach it, and I have some things I want to do next time around. So
Okay.
definitely plan on going back for sure.
Awesome. Was there anything that in terms of feedback, and they may or may not be watching this, depending on, if they catch the algorithm on YouTube, but was there anything that you would love to see better or different?
I would probably say it's so much. I just would like to be able to have micromanage some things.
Right.
So if we have a number of talks, a number of contests, a number of CTFs going on at the same time, I think, like you all know, you can't do everything at one time.
Right.
But
Right.
if I wanted to go here and I wanted to be here at the same time, I can't physically do that. So maybe rerun something that was done the day before, if it's like a talk or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can have a live broadcast or something like that. So you could kind of go back I know some of the talks actually they do post later on.
Right.
But like outside of that, I think that's primarily why next time I go, I'll probably be more focused on the hands-on stuff, CTF stuff, just because I spent so much time just going from village to village, just trying to be everywhere at one time.
Right.
I didn't really do some of the things that I really wanted to do. So next time around, I plan to just kind of sit still and be more, hacker friendly.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, we had several talks that was like people were lined up at 20 after for the top of the hour talk, and some of those rooms are like 175 people get in, there's 300 people waiting in line. And when the blue team AI talk happened, I was there that day. I was like, line was down the corner, and they're like, "We're here for the blue team AI talk." I'm like, there's 175 people. I did some rough counting. You're like number 200. So you may or may not get in, but you can stay in line if you want to. And yeah, we had several people ask, are they going to give this talk again? Which would be great if the villages recorded the talks. I don't know the logistics of needing that or if they can even do that. But yeah, it seems like, if this was a popular talk, maybe they need to give that talk again in the afternoon. Or, Rhino Raider, who talks at 9 a.m. is going to give another talk at 4 o'clock for the same thing.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would be nice if the people who saw the 9 o'clock talk didn't also show back up for the 3 o'clock talk, because they tend to want to do that. But yeah, for talks that were very, very popular, or the villages should be like, oh yeah, we're going to get a lot of people for this talk. Maybe they figure out a way to move that to a larger venue that can support people, like the creator stages that were on the second floor or something like that. That may be something that might be legitimate feedback to give. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Or even have like a room, like an overflow room. Like if
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a space or a room big enough for like people that can't get into the talks, that it'll be streamed on the TV at the same time. People can
Yeah.
still see that it's not physically in the room. But I think that'll, if possible, I think that could be an option too, just to allow people to still be able to see it but just not be physically in the room.
Yeah, yeah, I know Defcon TV was going on for I think the track talks on the first floor, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no reason I don't understand why the villages couldn't record their talks. I mean, there is it does take a little bit of skill to record those things, but hey, maybe they could talk to you, and you could volunteer for a village and help out as an AV goon
Yeah,
or something.
sure.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. You could figure out how to do all this other stuff on a computer. Come on.
Oh
It
yeah.
took me 2 years to get the gumption to go to video from audio. So some of that was just my hey, what if it sucks? What if people don't like it kind of thing. But yeah, I mean it's definitely there's definitely a skill to it, and you can either do it really right or you can do it really wrong. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That is true.
But that's definitely good feedback about overflow rooms or something like that, where it's like, hey, we're going to have this person talk, we're going to have it streamed over here, or we're going to be able to, at least have the audio or something like Defcon radio or something like that. That
Yeah,
might be
something
something.
like that.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Miss Berlin, do you have anything? I know, sorry, I've been hogging the conversation here.
No, it's all right. I mean, I could talk about conferences and stuff like that for forever.
Well, you're a Nook goon. You're a Nook organizer or a village organizer. You've recorded talks before at like DerbyCon, I believe. What's the logistics of that? I know that maybe it's a little different in Vegas with the unions and like you can't do certain things, but
And yeah,
what's
it
the
depends on where you're at,
yeah,
right? Like with the village, like for example, like Blue Team Con is coming up in a couple weeks, and we don't usually record talks in the Mental Health Hackers Village because like they're
off the
sensitive
cuff?
in
Right,
nature, and like a lot of times people like the more intimate, like sit around a laptop screen and have a discussion
right,
kind of thing.
right.
And even if we did want to record them and have like a presentation screen and everything, it's very expensive.
Oh, really?
Like per room is like extra like $2,000 or something to rent the screen,
Dear God, I didn't know
and
that.
it's insanely
Huh.
expensive. That's why they would have like people do it third party when they could,
Right,
uh,
right.
and come in and bring all the equipment and everything. And when you bring your own equipment, like that's a lot of gear.
Right, right.
A lot of gear. So really just depends.
Right. Well, Vicious, if you didn't see a talk, usually the contact information for those speakers are online. You have an outlet on YouTube. You could potentially invite somebody that you wanted to see their. I've done this. It's like, oh, I didn't get to see your talk. I have a podcast. You come on and you do the talk for me, and other people will get to see it. You could potentially do something similar.
Right. True.
Yeah, it's cheating to get around the system. How do you
Wait, it's no cheating. It's no cheating.
Same reason Brian and I keep on having all these people on. It's just
Right. Like my roommate who gave the threat detection 101 talk. He's my roommate. He's a first time speaker at DEF CON and he's a goon.
Yep.
He's working it out to come on and talk about threat detection 101, which people apparently lost their shit on and wanted to see that talk. And I was like, sorry, you're number 400 in line for a 175 person room. You're not getting in. Sorry. I tried to be honest with people. I was like, look, you're probably not going to get in. I mean, you can sit here and wait and see if somebody comes out, but I tried to be as real with those folks as possible. But yeah, so
I could give a talk about building a threat detection engineering team.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah, you It's new. I know it's new to you, Miss Berlin. It's cool. It's all right. So yeah. No,
I
I'm
don't
just
even
kidding.
do that anymore.
Oh, you don't do that? Okay.
I'm retired. I've retired from detection engineering.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Any last questions or thoughts before we wrap this up? I think we've probably done really well here. So okay.
Mm.
Vicious, how would so I know we mentioned your YouTube channel. You
Mhm.
are on a lot of different social media networks or
Yeah, I'm
places.
everywhere.
How would people get a hold of you?
Anywhere. You can contact me on LinkedIn if you want to connect there.
Okay.
My actual name is Ariane Brister.
Okay.
You can reach me on LinkedIn there, or if you want to reach out to me on Twitter or X or Instagram or YouTube. I'm primarily either Vicious Child with an X or Who is Vicious, either one. That's
Okay.
pretty much it. If I'm on Discord, my name is a little bit different.
Okay.
I won't give that to y'all because I have like 3 that I do. That's like my alter ego, so I won't give y'all that. But anywhere else, that's where you can catch
I
me
do
at.
maybe have one more question.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your favorite instrument?
I was a bass player. I say was because I don't play anymore. At the time, I don't play anymore. But definitely bass. I play upright bass, bass guitar, 5-string bass, 4-string bass, whatever you want to call it. And I also like some piano.
Okay, all right. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people in security and tech with music backgrounds.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is. Yes, a
So
lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have jokes all the time at work about starting a band because
Yeah.
there's so many of us that are musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, and several of our folks do DJ sets, and they're hackers.
Yeah.
And Dead Mouse also showed up, I think,
Yep.
last year. To if he didn't show up this year, he definitely showed up last year and was like running, working some of the CTFs and stuff like that. He tends to not show up in his mouse outfit to do so. So if you don't know what he actually looks like, then
I sold one of his badges on our eBay thing.
oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, it's we have a lot of interesting people in our industry, and you are definitely most welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
very cool. All right, so Vicious, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for taking the time to come on the show with me.
For sure. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me,
yep,
both of you. It was nice and a nice pleasure to be able to chat with you all.
awesome. And I would love to say I'd like to see you next year, but I'm supposed to be on a European cruise during that time,
I
so
think
I'm
that's
gonna.
much better.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that.
That is a
Um,
bad excuse. Yeah. You have enough time to replan.
I know. Well, it's a year, so things it could happen. But we're going to be enjoying that. I'll be back for 35, DEFCON 35, so that'll be another analog year. So I'll miss the digital badge for next year. But cool. Yeah. I hope you come back next year. Meet some more goons. Meet some DJs. Meet some folks. Get involved with the CTF or something like that. And
For sure.
yeah, we'll see you in 35. So cool.
All right.
All right, everybody. Well, that was it for the show. Thank you to Grobdor for posting up on stream. It was their first DEF CON as well. So congratulations. Thank you for being a first time DEF CON person. I hope you come back again next year like Vicious. And yeah, hope everyone has a great day, a great rest of their week. Take care of yourselves. Miss Berlin, pleasure having you here as well, which is a rare opportunity and a rare treat. So thank you. And that was it for Break Sec Education. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves. As we're fond of saying around here, you're the only you have. Okay? We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.